Well, hello, everybody. This is Mike DeBoer with the Franchise Business Podcast, and I'm honored to be joined by somebody that I had the privilege of seeing a couple of weeks ago in beautiful San Diego. So I'm joined by Greg McCartney. Greg is a franchise broker with Advantage Franchise Brokers. And Greg, first of all, thanks for joining us. And I'll allow you to kind of introduce yourself and what you do for people that are aspiring entrepreneurs, kind of thinking about what's next for them.
Yeah, Mike, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And yeah, San Diego was great. It was good to see you there and
It was great.
connect again. Those
Thanks.
those times are good opportunities to make future connections, right? So
Yeah, and not a bad place
love
to
it.
do it either. So
Yeah, it was
yeah,
great. I'm wishing I was there now. I try my best to imagine that I am. I guess I put
on a
pictures
beach.
on the
Yeah,
wall.
absolutely. I see that. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I'm a franchise broker. My company name is Advantage Franchise Brokers, but I'm an independent consultant, and I got into this business because franchising changed my life. I used to be an engineer in corporate America, and like a lot of the candidates I work with now, they're looking to change. I was looking to change careers and find something I had more of a healthy motivation to build something for myself and
Sure.
have more freedom and time freedom, financial freedom, all those things. So I got into franchising as a first time business owner. It was my path to do that.
Right.
And shortly after I started my business, I had not shortly, but a few years after, I had more time on my hands, and being a franchise broker and helping other people do the same thing was a natural next step. So
Sure.
that's how I got into the business. I love these one-on-one conversations with candidates, connecting them with opportunities that they may not have thought of on their own. So it's
Yeah.
pretty fun.
Awesome. And I'm sure, Greg, you having been in their shoes and somebody, again, like you said, that came from corporate, and I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision to make to go out and do something on your own, but you made it, and now you help people make that same decision. So, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
firsthand experience on how important it is that you were in their shoes, and now you can guide them.
I kind of underestimated how important that really is.
Yeah.
And when I found my business, I worked with a broker, just like I support people from the other side now.
Right.
But when I was thinking about becoming a franchise broker, I called up the broker I used, and
Okay.
he's an older. I'm 38,
Yeah.
but he's got much more experience in the industry than I do. And
Sure.
I asked him, I said, "Hey, why would someone want to listen to me about finding a business to own?" And he
Right.
said, "Are you kidding? You've done it yourself. That's the most valuable thing. The most credibility you can give yourself is that you've been in their shoes." And I said, "Okay, maybe I can do this." And
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't looked back ever
Awesome.
since. So yeah, I mean, I think that just as equally as finding the right business and going through all the details and the data to find a business that's a good match for someone, um, it's about managing fears and expectations and the big jump that comes with owning a business. It's often one of the biggest decisions someone will make in their lives,
Right.
besides getting married or buying a house or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's not something to take lightly. And I think that's another thing that shines through when I'm working with someone is the level of integrity, and working in my candidate's best interest is top of mind for me, because I've been in their shoes and I know that um, I need to make the right decision, because it's a big critical moment in their lives to set the trajectory for the rest of their career. If they become a
Right.
business owner, my goal is to make them unemployable. And
Yeah.
what I mean by that is I don't ever want, if they want to leave corporate America and be their own boss, like I want them to successfully achieve that, and I want it
Right.
to open up more doors for them.
Yeah.
So this is the first step has to be a successful one, and a lot of
Absolutely.
times, yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And on that note, Greg, I mean, I'm sure when you were working with your broker, they had a really great process in place to help you understand what are your goals and what are your
Yeah.
dreams and what are your skills that you really think are important that you bring to the table. So I'm just interested, what's your process like when you're working with your clients to just help them learn, I think, about themselves, but then
Yeah.
also what they want to do and the fulfillment they want to find. Yeah, go through that.
Yeah, gosh. Well, I learned myself that, through my experience now, I can say it's not what the business does, but it's what it does for you.
Yeah,
Most people, a lot of people tell me, "Oh, I want to own a business because I want more money." Well, what
right.
does more money get you, right?
Sure.
Like, what is it? Money doesn't buy, like, money isn't the goal. Freedom is the goal usually. And what does freedom look like for you?
Right.
Uh, so my process really starts with why. Why do you want to be a business owner? What do you want it to look like?
Yeah.
And I ask a lot of questions that I warn my candidates. It'll feel redundant, and I'm going to ask questions in a lot of different ways because I want to dig into why you're doing this. And sometimes it doesn't come out until the second or third call, and the candidate themselves doesn't really know and hasn't said it out loud.
Right.
What is the vision here?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of upfront. When they come to me, they usually have a business in mind that they want to start, but the first step is to take a step back.
Yeah.
And get clear on why are you looking to do this?
Mm-hmm.
And that's for anyone working with a broker. I would recommend lean into that and take that step back and really get clear on your vision and your values and your goals, your lifestyle, your vision of what you want your life to look like as a business owner, because that way you can get full value out of the knowledge your broker has.
Right.
And they'll introduce you to businesses that you may not have thought of on your own, or may not have thought possible that you have the skills to run. Sure. So it's not what the business does, it's what it does for you. Mm-hmm. And that's a really powerful advice, I'd say, I experienced myself. Something like 60% of franchise inquiries are a restaurant or something that's top of mind that a consumer sees when they're driving down the street. It's a brick and mortar building.
Yeah, and a logo. That's what they see, right?
Yeah. But most people end up finding through their research that those aren't the best businesses for them, and that there's other options that are better utilization of their skills and their funds. And you work with Scully Mitchell. That's a great example of a brand that most people wouldn't think of at first. Sure. But there's so many aspects of your business that can be very appealing to someone who might not have the capital or the time runway to wait to open up a brick and mortar business. And also, I say this a lot when people are interested in buying a brick and mortar business. I'm kind of rambling here. You asked me what the process is, but these are good points.
Yeah.
So, for someone to put all their hard-earned money that they have available for an investment into one brick and mortar location is a big risk, right?
Yeah.
Well, oftentimes you see these brick and mortar businesses being multi-unit developments, and it's the law of averages, right? Not every business location is going to perform the same, but overall their portfolio of businesses can be a strong asset for them. Right. But when you've got a certain amount of money and you've got this pain point of wanting to leave your job and you need to make it work as a first-time business owner,
right?
My process is all about finding out your skills and the things that you like to do on the day in and day out. And oftentimes that ends up matching them with the business that's like Scully Mitchell, that leverages their skills in sales or relationship building.
Right.
And, those are the things that, like, bet on yourself. We'll find a business where you can bet on yourself and reduce the risk of failure quite a bit. And, at the end of the process, I'll say this, I'll skip ahead. At the end of this process I use to help people find a business, no one invests in a franchise unless they're talking to other owners that are living the life they want to live. Right. And, they're talking to these owners and asking them lots of questions. How much money are you making? How long did it take you to get there? How much was the investment? And what does your day in the life look like in this business? So that validation phase where they're taking everything they learned and asking actual owners like, hey, is this true? Is this what I'm going to be experiencing in this business? They should feel at the end of that process, wow, if these guys can do it, I can do it. I'm ready to go.
Exactly.
So usually at the beginning of the process, they're very scared and uncertain and wow, I can't believe I'm thinking about quitting my job to do this. But at the end of the process, through all the information, my job is to get you the information you need to make a decision. And at the end, you should have that feeling like, all right, there's not going to be any surprises here. This business ownership is challenging, but let's move forward with this. I can do it if these guys can.
Yeah, it's all about making an informed decision, right? And that involves a lot of different conversations with different people, like you said. And I really like that you said, keep talking about the why. And you're right. I mean, I think it's a really important part of the conversation to be repeated, and it might sound redundant, like you indicated, but you're only going to be successful as a franchisee when you remember your why, and that gets you through. I mean, there's always going to be great days and days that aren't so great. The why gets you through it, right? And so
100%.
that's why you keep repeating it. It's a good point.
Good.
And a good segue, Greg. I mean, I think, and you can speak firsthand to this, you used a broker to find a franchise model that was right for you. If you did this search on your own, you run into a lot of those misconceptions. I want a restaurant because that's what I see driving down the road, or I have this interest and hobby, therefore that's the business I have to get into, right? And in reality, you might not be good in that business. You might be great in another model because you actually have maybe some more subjective or background skills that make that a better fit. And again, I think that's what you help people with, is evaluate what really matters. What are you really good at? What do you really want to do day to day? And there's a business for you, right? So
absolutely. Yeah. It's when it all comes together, it makes sense. Someone will, think, well, gosh, this is a perfect fit. It's rewarding when they come to that conclusion. And the other thing that, the process, my process changes with each candidate in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a discovery process. The foundational things I encourage people to do is keep having conversations. Don't sit in a silo and just think about these opportunities.
Right.
Talk to real people who are experiencing this business, learn about it. You're going to learn a lot about what you like and what you don't like by having conversations. And one thing I've learned in my own personal development with business ownership is you have to be good at making decisions, whether it's the right decision or the wrong decision. A good entrepreneur is good at making decisions. And that process starts with your research and acting with a sense of urgency and making good informed decisions, but not sitting around twiddling your thumbs and thinking of all the 100 reasons why something could go wrong. And be motivated by the opportunity and learn more. Keep asking questions.
Could not agree more with that. Now, you kind of alluded to it as well, Greg, but there's thousands of franchise models out there, and they're not all created equal. And I think another really important thing that you bring to the table is helping, I think, kind of siphon that down to, okay, these are, brands that I've been able to vet and they're trusted in their worlds, and we know the support is solid and they've been around and they have longevity. So I guess, can you make a couple of comments on that aspect of it? Not only learning about the people, but also learning about the brands for people. Not that you're, of course, selling them. You're just a role, you're consulting and guiding your client. But any comments on that part of it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that when you find a good brand, it almost sells itself in a lot of ways because the franchise owners are happy and they're profitable, right? That's, that a franchise system that's healthy should be making money off their franchisees' success through royalties, right? And naturally, the more established brands that have been around a while and have owners that are in various stages of their business, it's much more easier and it makes me sleep better at night to know when I introduce someone to a business who have owners in year 1 that are seeing tremendous value from their franchisor, but also in year 10 that are seeing tremendous value from their franchisor. Those two owners at year 1 and year 10 are in two very different stages of business, that different problems, different, so many different things. And that year 10 owner needs to see value in that franchise fee that the franchise royalty that they're still paying. Right. Exactly. And when you find the brands where that's the case, it's a very powerful thing. And it's huge. It's usually a pretty easy decision for someone if they're the right fit. The other thing is, when I'm looking for brands, I'm looking for happy owners, I'm also looking for supportive owners, owners that network with each other and collaborate, because the franchisor provides support, but one of the most undervalued aspects of a franchise relationship is the network of other franchisees. So basically, in a nutshell, you could tell people that my job is to to network with franchisees and understand what makes those franchisees successful in a certain system.
Right.
And then figure out what my candidate's looking for and what their attributes, their skills, their work style are, and then match those. I'm a matchmaker.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
when you get that match right, it can be very fruitful. So
yeah, for sure. No, and that's, if you can find people that are running the same business as you day to day that you can lean on and share best practices with, that makes your life a lot simpler, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? And that not only comes from the franchisor, but also other franchisees, like you said. So I think that's underrated in this world.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Awesome, Greg. Now, I like to also, I think everyone in your business has had challenging circumstances with clients. Maybe you're the outlier, but I doubt that you are. Any kind of example you're willing to share about someone that maybe had challenging circumstances? Maybe they just had misperceptions that you had to help them kind of deal with and ultimately get over those hurdles to make a decision. But you got them there. They've joined a business that they've been very successful in after going through that process.
Yeah, I can think of multiple examples of someone who came to me looking for something in the pet industry because they're passionate about dogs and they want to work around dogs.
Right.
But they also had a strong conviction or goal to change their lives in a certain way and have more stability for their family long term, and they had a certain amount of income or savings that when we dug into their timeline and what they needed out of a business, we found that industry just wasn't going to be the right fit. And I helped someone who came to me with a pet industry inquiry, and they're successfully running a property management business now.
Okay. Pivot.
They have a real estate broker's license or agent license. They are, managing single family and multifamily home rental properties for their clients, and running a very stable, recession-proof business that they were able to get up and running in just a few months, as opposed to waiting around a year to find a real estate and go through the other hurdles with a brick and mortar business like a pet business. So I think that was rewarding to see where they're at now, and how it's helping them meet their goals, and also leveraging their skills with networking and community involvement that they really wanted in their day-to-day life.
Right. Yeah. I think that speaks to the fact that they would have probably been in a business that was wrong for them if they didn't reach out to you and have you guide them through that process, right? So I think that's why brokers like you are so important, because you can say, hey, well, does that actually feel like the right fit, or there's a lot of other options that maybe more align with what you really want to do, like we talked about.
And I would say, part of that conversation was the risk profile that candidate had, and their net worth and assets that they had. It was going to be a big stretch. They could have done it, but they would have put all their eggs in one basket with a business that may or may not have worked out for them.
Sure.
And I'm in a way very unique as a broker. I come from an engineering background, a very risk averse type personality. That's me. So I don't hesitate to let people know that, hey, maybe you should think about dialing this back a little bit. Because we all know that one of the biggest reasons a business might fail is lack of capital running out of that runway. And
money.
So got to set you up for success from the beginning. And that's one of the things I strive to do.
Exactly. Yeah. And coming in with realistic expectations, right, about what this will look like and the amount of time it will take. That's all, I think, really imperative for people to go in with, eyes open and, know what to expect. And a point that you made there, Greg, I think for a lot of people, this decision is maybe too emotional, maybe also sometimes too analytical. And I think it's good when you can mix both. Obviously, it's an emotional decision, and that's where the why comes in, right? There's a why, and a lot of the why is an emotional thing, but you can't just make emotional decisions because then you get into bad situations. Similarly, you can overanalyze anything to the point where you just get paralyzed. So what is your opinion? Because like you said, you're an engineer, you're probably a very analytical guy. How do you mix the two in the decision-making process?
That's a great question. And you're right. There needs to be a healthy balance there. I think that no one makes a decision unless there's a pain point. So on the first call, when I'm asking them why they want to own a business, I'm trying to understand what is it that they're looking to change by owning a business. And we have an assessment that all of our candidates take that help us understand their values. And those values are it'll indicate whether they feel that they have those values in their current situation, or they feel like they need to improve on certain values, or they're missing that in their current situation. And that's why they might be looking to own a business and solve that problem of missing that stability in their lives, or that consistency, or that teamwork that they're striving to have that they don't have in their corporate job, or whatever that is. We talk about those values a lot and really dive into what their pain points might be and what they're looking to change, because no one makes a change very few people make a change based on the carrot alone. There's usually a stick. Right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if everything was great, they wouldn't be looking to make a change, right? So there's some reason. Yeah, it's the stick.
So there's that. But it needs to be a calculated decision, right? And usually I see that the conversations start out very emotional, but there's usually a phone call a few weeks into the process where someone gets a lot more serious. And I tell them, I say, hey, it looks like something's changed. You've had a few conversations, you've talked to the franchisor and learned about their business model and what you'd be doing in this business day in and day out.
Right.
And now you're feeling like it's a little more real. You've slept on this for a week since we last talked, and am I right? And they're like, yeah, I'm starting to get nervous. I say, okay, well, don't worry about that. Let's put some numbers together. I'm going to give you resources to help you write a business plan and get your numbers together. Because don't worry, you're still a long way from making a decision, but we need to get you through this process and talking to the right people so that when you are ready to make a decision, you've uncovered every stone. And there should never be any surprises when you start a franchise. There's enough information out there before you make a decision to put you in the right mindset and have the right expectations of what the business can do for you.
Right. 100%. I totally agree. And that's why this process takes time. It's not an overnight thing because people have to do all that. And that's great.
I'll add to that. Usually the emotional decision that, the emotional feelings that come with the start of your research, they're often looking at a brand that's they're thinking of from a consumer perspective, like a dog brand or a restaurant brand. And we'll look at those too. I'm not going to tell you right off the bat, hey, that's not right for you. Just like buying a house, you're not going to buy the first house you see most of the time, right? So you need to understand the pros and cons of different options, and you get more clear on what's right for you after you explore these things. So I'm happy to help someone through it and give them the clarity on the direction they'll ultimately go.
Sure. No, I think that's great. Great insights. Now, we talked about challenging kind of circumstances. Greg, any other success stories you like to share of clients you've helped kind of make a decision and they've just been really, really successful as a franchisee in whatever model they joined?
Yeah, absolutely. There's, usually after I place a candidate, I check in with them every few months. They're busy running their business. So,
you wait a bit.
And there's that ramp up period where they're in the thick of it and it's a lot of hard work. So, but one thing that's really rewarding when I see is just when someone's talking about the support they're getting from the franchisor and how happy they are with it. They're not going at it alone. There's challenges. They're working hard. They're learning every day. There's a lot of personal development, but they are just so happy to have changed their situation. That pain point's not there anymore. And they have the right team behind them. And that is really what I hope for in a conversation 3 months in. It's expected that someone is struggling in their business, and usually the best business owners are the ones who always want more and are always motivated for more. And when you call them up and you ask them, hey, how are you doing? You expect them to say, oh man, I'm growing, I want to be farther along. They always want to be growing
and getting better.
Scaling the business. So it's fun to see when someone's motivated. It's just validating for me that they have the right personality and they're in the right business where the support structure behind them is what they need.
Right. Absolutely. It's always great when, I mean, we have a lot of franchisees we'll, be speaking with early on, and they say, yeah, my wife or my partner or my friends commented, like, I just seem like a new person. And that sounds so tacky.
That's amazing.
But the point is, I've left that pain point I had, like we just talked about, and now I'm doing something that for myself, and it has its own challenges, and it has its own, it's hard work, but at least it's what I want to be doing now, and that's really important, right? It's transformational for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And personally for myself, and I'll speak of my own situation, stepping into business ownership with a franchise in my 30s did not define the rest of my career. It led to franchise brokering, and now I have much more confidence to find other opportunities for business for myself. I'm pretty confident I'll never work for someone else again in a W-2 situation. So, the doors that are opened by getting into franchise ownership, being surrounded by other entrepreneurs that are like-minded to you, it's just very rewarding to see that too, when candidates sort of have a mindset shift in business ownership of what else will be possible for them in the future, whether it's another business completely, or maybe multiple locations of a business that they're already in, or another vertical within that franchise portfolio. There's a lot of ways, a lot of opportunities that can come from making that change and moving forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even we often find, and I've seen, like, a lot more community involvement as well, and getting, starting to give back in different ways, because, like, I'm sure a lot of people that would be listening to this in corporate, you're working long hours and you're traveling a lot. That's your life. Right. And I think for a lot of people that are in business for themselves, their life can start to encompass a lot more once they make that jump, and there's a lot of other things they can start doing and getting involved in. So
absolutely. I like that. Good point.
Yeah. So Greg, kind of my last thing is, and we talked a little bit about this, but sort of misconceptions. And I think one of the good ones you brought up is it's not just food, and that's a common one, right? But any other kind of misconceptions, maybe about franchise kind of ownership specifically, or entrepreneurship more generally, that you run into, and kind of how do you help people overcome that way of thinking?
Sure, absolutely. Another big misconception is that I need to have experience in an industry before I get into it, or else I won't be successful. And that's far from the truth. The most successful franchise owners in any system are the ones that are good with people, good with managing and delegating, and they can follow a system, and they're coachable. So if you match them with the right franchise system, they will have the skills they need to run that business. I've placed people in businesses that are medical businesses, and they're engineers or other professions that don't have the medical degree required to run the business, but they fill the spot of the owner as the executive owner with funding and marketing and all the hiring and people management that's required in that business. And they partner with the doctor who has the specific skills they need to run the day-to-day. So that's one example. There's other technical trades where there's plenty of business owners and that have been successful without knowledge in that trade before they start. Their franchises are often looking for someone who's not, the chuck in a truck, right? They're not looking for someone with the skill. They're looking for someone who wants to build and scale a business in an executive role.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Managing and working on it is more important in a lot of
yes,
cases than in it. Right. So,
yeah, 100%.
yeah.
So that's a misconception that is probably number two on the list.
Right.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Great, Greg. Well, those are sort of my questions. I always, when I do these, like to leave kind of the floor open last for you. If there's someone watching this that's maybe thinking, yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit tired with, the corporate grind. And I've always kind of wanted to get into business for myself, but it seemed like a daunting jump. What would you say to them, to get started and kind of get started in that
sure,
process?
sure.
Yeah.
You don't have to see the entire staircase to take the first step, right? I
Sure.
love that quote.
That's a
It's kind of
good
corny,
analogy.
but
That's true.
it's so true. Like
Yeah.
what I said earlier is you got to have conversations. And you know, I here's what I found through, part of my job is to respond to inquiries I get online, right?
Right.
People
Right.
fill out information and I call them. And I have found I get to talk to people of all different backgrounds. Some of them are already entrepreneurs, some of them are very successful and they're looking for additional opportunity.
Sure.
Others are in corporate America and they think I'm a spam call, right?
Right.
So, what I have found that has been very interesting is from what I can tell of their success on the phone and future conversations, how I learn about what these people are doing, the most successful people are open to having conversations, right?
Yeah. Right.
They're not going to shut me down right away. They're in control of the conversation. They don't need to be afraid of being sold something by someone. They're
Sure.
clear on why they're looking at something and what they want to achieve in their lives, and they're prepared to ask the right questions and have a conversation with someone about
Right.
what possibly could get them there, right? And I've had very successful people that, they're open to talking to me, a guy who, you know, uh, is much less successful than them, but in many ways, but they're just open to conversations. And those are
Yeah.
the people who have opportunities come to them.
Sure.
So, um, and the franchise research process is free information. If
Right.
you're hungry and you want to learn about business and you want to talk to other business owners and get clarity on if it's right for you,
Yeah.
all you're investing is your time.
Right.
And my job is to help someone do that in an organized fashion. And it's rewarding whenever someone is clear on that. They're just investing their time, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think whether the decision is, yeah, I want to do something, or maybe not the right time, or I don't think I could do this, at least they took those steps to learn and do their due diligence, and they can make an educated decision. Because I think the
Yeah.
worst thing you can do is, and again, this sounds tacky, but get to the end of your life and you didn't think about at least what could I have done differently. So
Right.
again, I think because it's free, it's even, there's no risk, and you can make a decision either way. You join a
Yeah.
franchise down the road, or you just stay where you are. You've thought about
Yeah.
it, and that's important.
And you have renewed clarity on
Exactly.
your situation
Yeah.
and plans for the future. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Exactly. Absolutely.
yeah.
So Greg, where can people get in touch with you if they do want to reach out and kind of, go through your process?
LinkedIn is a great place. Greg McCartney with Advantage Franchise Brokers on LinkedIn. I'm here in Reno, Nevada, and uh, I work with time zones all across the country. I also have the website advantagefranchisebrokers.com or Greg at advantagefranchisebrokers.com email address. So
Awesome. Awesome. And is
thanks,
Reno
Mike.
the biggest little city in the world, or the littlest big
That's
city
right.
in the world? First one, right?
Biggest
Yeah.
little city. Yeah.
There we go.
It's whenever I'm talking to people across the country, they say, "Oh, right by Vegas." Well, Vegas is a 7-hour drive away. So,
So, yeah.
um,
As a Canadian, I get that, because people will ask me if I live close to Calgary, and I think it would take 2 days to drive there, but I guess whatever close means, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
awesome.
great. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Greg.
Mike.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you joining us, and yeah, I can attest to if you reach out to Greg, you'll be in good hands, because he's a great resource for anyone trying to learn more about themselves and franchising. So, Greg, thanks for joining. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. Take care.
You got it.